Hello and welcome to Eastern Horizon. We are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. The United States and Iran has signed the digital draft of 14 points peace agreement by Donald Trump and the Iranian president. Tomorrow will be in Switzerland. There will be another ceremony in which this deal has been officially announced. We earlier spoke with the profession from the Iranian side. To discuss this, I have joined by Stephen Sahuni, a Middle East expert right now from Latakia, Syria. Thank you very much, Stephen, for joining me.
You're welcome.
So, how you see this the peace agreement between the United States and Iran, and these 14 points, how you analyze that? How important is this, and what means for Middle East?
This peace deal rewrites the whole Middle East. The United States of America and Israel went into this war, attacked Iran first, killed their supreme leader, did a series of airstrikes, killed their political and military leaders in the first strike. Also, a lot of civilians. One of them, the school full of girls. So, but in a way, Iran succeeded in standing in the face of the United States, in resisting them. They kept the U.S. came into this war in regime change, finishing the nuclear program, finishing the ballistic missiles. Well, the regime is still there. The uranium is still in Iran. And until the last second, the Iranians were launching missiles. On the other hand, the Iranians did succeed, hit the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier. They shot down the F-35, F-15. The American military bases were massively damaged, and this is shown by the footages that were released. Also, the BBC report talked about it, about the damages in the United States military bases in the Gulf. So the Americans lost a lot. If you want to compare between the position militarily and politically in the world for Iran and the United States, you will see the biggest loser was the United States. They lost much more. Yes, Iran did lose their leaders, their political, their military leaders. They lost a lot of their infrastructure, but the regime kept it stayed the same. And for a country that's been thousands of years in this region, and I'm sure you're intellectual and you know history. So Iran, it's very hard. It's been in history for thousands of years, and it's been a regional power for thousands of years. I'm not a fan of Iran, and I'm on a different political view of Iran. But you have to talk. You have to be honest, and you have to talk logical. And today we're talking politics. Today, America didn't achieve anything. The only thing they achieved is the destruction of the infrastructure and the killing of innocent and some leaders. But in the mentality of a country like Iran, killing a leader, that does not collapse the regime. We've seen that in several areas in the world.
So, where you see Israel in this scenario, because Israel is not happy about this peace deal, and Netanyahu, who is trying to derail and trying to, slash this deal. Inside Lebanon, there was the resistance against Israel, against Israeli aggression. So, in the coming days, where you see that what would be the situation in Lebanon? And if Israel tried to undermine this deal, what would be the consequences for Netanyahu and Tel Aviv?
From the beginning and from day one, this war, if you ask any American and you ask any American politician or an American citizen, he will tell you this war, it's the war of Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu has been trying to do this war since 1996. He came out an interview on CNN in that year and came out and said Iran is 2 weeks away from making a nuclear bomb. Well, we've been hearing that for those 2 weeks. We've been hearing them for the last 3 decades. And till now, Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb. And Benjamin Netanyahu pressured the Bush, the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, the Biden, and the Trump administration, pressuring them with the Zionist lobby in Washington, D.C., AIPAC, pressuring them to come into this war. In the end, Trump went for it because him being a narcissist and him being a rookie in politics, he doesn't know the consequences. And we all have seen the consequences economically on the world economy, on the power, the energy prices of fuel and gas and all of that. So the mastermind of this war is Benjamin Netanyahu. That's number one. Number two, Benjamin Netanyahu is doing the war against Lebanon and trying him to destroy and occupy Lebanon, not only destroy Hezbollah, but he wants to, even if Hezbollah puts his weapons down today, Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel are going to continue, and they'll go into all the way to the Beirut, and they might go up to Tripoli. They went to all the way to Beirut in 1982. So they will do it again. That's what they're trying, and that's the right extremists in Israel, like Ben Gavir, Smotrich, and Benjamin Netanyahu and they're doing the same thing in Syria, occupying the south of Syria, Daraa, Quneitra, also in Gaza, occupying big parts of Gaza. So Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to continue doing this continuing war. He does not want to stop, and he doesn't want to do a peace, because making him having peace and signing a peace deal, that's mean him going on to the trial that he is convicted, and he will lose his position as prime minister.
Mm-hmm. So, Stephen Savani, I have also joined by Dr. Taleb Ibrahim. He is also a Middle East expert. Actually, he's trying, but he's facing some technical issue, I think. Dr. Taleb, can you hear me? Dr. Taleb, can you hear me? I think he has some technical problem, I think. So let me go again to you, Stephen, that as you mentioned that it was the war that was actually triggered and started by Netanyahu. So there are elections in Israel, and Netanyahu is also facing mounting pressure on his corruption trial. Whenever there is the opening of his corruption trial, he start another war. So I mean that how long? I mean that he could use this war rhetoric and the war tactics to destabilize the Middle East. So how margin is, and what about the opposition? Right? So that opposition be stood up against him at this stage. How you see?
Your internet connection went, so I only heard half of the question. I only heard the first half of the question.
So I repeat that. Yeah, so I repeat my question that as you mentioned that Israel has initiated this war. So how much Israeli elections are near? There is a corruption trial against Netanyahu. So do you think that the opposition from Israel can stood up and to give some tough time to Netanyahu?
Yes, for sure. He does have enormous amount of pressure on him inside of Israel, and external pressure. There is a big chance of him losing. That's why he's trying to do as much as war as possible. That's why he's trying to do as much as destruction as possible in Lebanon, in south of Syria, in Gaza, trying to making this war to fail, this peace deal fail between Washington and Tehran, because the more war he does, the more destruction he does, the extremists of Israel and the supporters of Ben Gavir and Smotrich will vote for him, and he will stay in power. That's why his goal. But today, the United States They are going under enormous amount of pressure economically, the inflation, the people, the Democratic Party, also the mid-election in the United States, the Congress. All of that pressure is on the United States does not is preventing Trump from supporting this war, supporting this madness killing machine called Benjamin Netanyahu. So he cannot continue in any kind of war. I see they will, in the end, the Americans will lift their protection off of Israel. And if we go back to 2004, when Ariel Sharon was coming into the Aqsa Mosque, and they asked him, the CNN asked him, what are aren't your biggest fears of the Arab uniting against you? He said, no, my biggest fear is we wake up, Israel will wake up and we have no American support. And I think we are coming up to do that day to day.
Okay, so Dr. Taleb joined me. Thank you very much. Actually, you are facing some technical problem. Dr. Taleb, can you hear me? Dr. Taleb, can you hear me? Hello? I think there is some internet problem. I think that's why I think he cannot hear me. Okay, so Stephen, yes. So let me go to you. So how much hopeful you are that these 14 points that Iran actually, and the United States agreed, and both the leaders, I think they have signed also. So do you think that these 14 points will be guaranteed that there will be no war between the United States and Iran in future?
The connection is cutting off. I mean, your question is not clear, sir. If you can repeat it, sorry.
Yeah, I question that, yeah, Stephen, my question is this. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, my question is this. That these 14 points, how much you are optimistic, being a Middle East analyst and expert, that these 14 points will mean that will be a guarantee that there will be peace between Iran and the US, and there will be no future war.
You cannot guarantee the United States. That's the problem. The United States, as they say, they are not a man of their word. They don't fulfill their promises. So yes, they might sign, but they can. The next president, he might go delete this deal and do a war again, just like how Trump did. He canceled the Obama deal with Iran, and then he started this war. So you cannot guarantee the United States, and you cannot predict the policies of the United States. It all depends on the deep state in Washington, D.C., how they're going, how in this 4 years, do they want war? Do they want escalation? Do they want peace? It all depends on the deep states in the United States, and it all depends on the lobbies in Israel, like the weapon company, the weapon empires, the oil empires, also the APAC, other kinds of lobbies in Washington, D.C. They're the ones who run the show in Washington, D.C. It's not the American president. So that's what I'm trying to say. You cannot predict, and you cannot take the United States for their promises or for their deals, because through history, they've a million times broken a deal and went on war.
Mm-hmm. So the resistance against the United States and Israel has increased in the Middle East. So how you see, that in future, what would be the future of the United States strategical and strategical presence in the Middle East? So do you think that US will lose its hegemony and its leverage in Middle East?
I don't see the United States rebuilding their military bases in the Gulf. And actually, in this war, the biggest loser in this war and who paid the biggest price in the Middle East in this war is the Arab countries, actually. And that's their number one. Number two, who lost is the United States. The winner, it was Israel, of course. They got what they wanted. Iran got bombed, the infrastructure got bombed, but the massive loser in this war, it was the Arab countries, and they didn't want this war, and they didn't support this war, and they didn't interfere in this war. We've seen Saudi, we've seen Qatar, we've seen Oman. They didn't interfere in this war. They didn't want even it to happen. But as I said, it was Benjamin Netanyahu's war. So, but I see America uh, not rebuilding their military bases, but besides having all of those military bases, they might have one military base or two, like one in Syria and one in Israel, or one in Iraq. But they won't have the same amount number of military. Their military interests in the Middle East
Israel.
now I see it's finished. They're concentrating. They are going to concentrate on Southeast Asia and their economical war with Beijing, and that's what Trump wants. That's who Trump considers his biggest threat is Beijing, not Iran, and not Moscow, and not any other country.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Taleb. Dr. Taleb, yes, can you hear me, Dr. Taleb? Hello, Dr. Taleb, you hear me? So let me go to you that the United States are also facing Donald Trump is coming the November election. So most of the analysts and there are speculation that might be under the coming of the midterm election, and the pressure might be he has to make this deal because he has no other option apparently. So after November, let's see if he can win the election. So do you think that still, there is a risk that the further escalation of this war? Because still, I think that both sides, that the statements coming from Donald Trump that Iran will not be allowed to have the nuclear weapon, and then he also gave some other statements. So, do you think that this is a temporary pause?
First of all, the only person who said that Iran wants a nuclear weapon is U.S. and Israel. They're the only ones. Number two, this election, even if he signs today, that tomorrow, if he signs it, it will not help Trump in his election. The American people are fed up from Trump and his policies. All of the experts are saying there's going to be a massive loss for the Republican Party. The Democrats are going to take the majority in the House and in the Senate. So we're going to see a hard 3 years, a hard 3 years on Trump if that happens, and it looks like it is going to happen. The inflation caused by Trump and his war and Netanyahu, the inflation, the economical situation inside of the United States, the suffering of the United States people economically, all of that causes the people to not vote for Trump. He keeps coming out on the media saying, "I've got 2 billion and 2 trillion and 500 billion into the American economy." Well, that's not helping the American people. The American people didn't see any of that money or any improvement in the American economy. Today, you see the stock market, you see the percentage of inflation and unemployment and murder. It's all increasing, especially on the era of Donald Trump. So even if he signs this this deal tomorrow and it go through and it stays stable from now until the election, it's not going to help the American economy, because the American economy is doing really bad, and it needs, as they say, a shock to fix to make it alive again.
Mhm. So how you see? Iran influence, as you mentioned, that Iran in the days, because of course Iran proved to be, that the rising power and the excess of resistance in the Middle East. So, do you think that in Syria the situation could be changed in next couple of months?
No, 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 no change in Syria, and Iran today doesn't have the power or the
Okay.
ability to stand up on its face again, on its feet again, and it doesn't have the ability, the acts of resistance. I'm sorry, but that's the past today. Today, Hezbollah lost their first, second, third row of political and military leaders. Their weapon storages are being have been bombed big time. They are not the same as before. Hamas is finished completely in Gaza. Gaza is flattened. All at the same time, a lot of pressure on the Iraqi militia who support Iran also in Iraq, and a lot of those groups are giving their weapons. Iran today is economy is in a inflation big time. Their money is collapsing. Their people are suffering. So they don't have the ability to be the same as they were before October 7. Actually, whoever did October 7 shot the acts of resistance in their head.
No, but there are different, proxies that are pro-Iran, and I think that they have quite influence in the Middle East. They are Houthis, they are different other militias. So, do you think that because of course Iran, Donald Trump also mentioned that Iran has the right of the ballistic missile. So, it seemed that maybe the US wants a balance of power in the region, and there could be influence of Iran that could rise. So, which countries do you think that where Iran influence can will have some
There's
impact?
something there is something we have to remember and we have to know this, and that is the increase of tension between Turkey and Israel. We have to see and remember the increase of tension between Turkey and Israel. And I see, and as I said in the beginning of this interview, that we might be seeing an alliances and this a new phase of the United States of the Middle East. Sorry, and you might see an alliances between Turkey and Iran and other Arab countries against Israel. Because today, when Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and he shows his map of big parts of Syria, big parts of Lebanon, big parts of Palestine, big parts of even Saudi and Jordan, that is shows that causes the countries to fear, and Turkey does not want that, because that will be danger on their national security.
Stephen
Can
Sahuni
you hear
for
me,
joining
sir?
me. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, it will
Thank you very much,
cause.
Stephen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me put you, Dr. Talib. We can see Dr. Talib. Can you hear me? Yeah. Now you can hear me. So yes, I was talking with Stephen Sahuni. He was joining me from Syria. So I think really sorry about the technical problem that you were facing. So we were discussing about this, that how you see this the peace deal between Iran and the United States, and that how you see Iran resistance in the Middle East. is